There's a moment in life that changes how you see everything. It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's the moment someone looks at you and decides who you are before you ever get the chance to become anything. They don't say it cruelly, sometimes they say it casually. Be realistic. That's not for people like you. You should think of something simpler. You don't have that kind of background. And suddenly, without asking your permission, society writes your limits for you. At first, you don't fight it. You assume they know better. They sound confident, experienced, certain. You start adjusting your dreams quietly, making them smaller, safer, easier to explain. Not because you stopped believing, but because believing started to feel embarrassing. You notice how people smile politely when you talk about your goals, how conversations change, how support becomes advice, and advice slowly turns into doubt. No one is attacking you, but no one is standing with you either. That's how it starts. You begin to feel like an outsider in your own ambition. You try once, you fail quietly, and instead of encouragement, you hear, "See, we told you." That sentence hurts more than failure ever could, because failure is temporary, but being dismissed stays with you. You start carrying it everywhere, at work, at family gatherings, in conversations you don't even join anymore. You laugh things off, act unbothered, say you're figuring things out, but inside, something heavy grows. Not anger, not sadness, pressure. The pressure of knowing you're capable of more while being treated like you're not. This is where most people give up, not because they're weak, but because fighting everyone, including your own doubts, gets exhausting. You consider settling, not because you want to, but because peace feels better than proving something. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Society doesn't stop people by force. It stops them by making them feel alone, by normalizing low expectations, by rewarding predictability, by discouraging discomfort. And if you don't consciously resist it, you slowly become the version of yourself that causes the least friction. But some people don't disappear. They don't argue. They don't announce anything. They do something far more dangerous. They go quiet. Not defeated quiet, focused quiet. They stop explaining, stop defending, stop waiting for approval that was never coming anyway. They learn a hard lesson early. Permission is rarely given to people who haven't proven themselves yet, so they stop asking. They don't suddenly become confident. They don't wake up fearless. They simply get tired of needing validation. They start building in private. While others are talking, they're learning. While others are watching, they're practicing. While others are comparing timelines, they're developing patience. Progress becomes unrecognizable to outsiders. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't post well online. It doesn't earn applause. But it compounds, slowly, painfully. They fail again, but this time they fail alone. No audience, no commentary. And that changes everything. Failure without humiliation teaches resilience. They realize something powerful. When no one expects anything from you, you're free to become anything. No pressure to perform, no image to protect, no role to maintain, just work. They begin to understand their own rhythm. They stop chasing motivation. They build structure. They stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start asking, "What needs to be done today?" And for the first time, life starts responding. Not dramatically, not overnight, but steadily. They get better, more capable, more confident in ways that don't need to be announced. They still hear the voices, "You're wasting time. Be realistic. It's too late now." But those voices lose authority because results, even small ones, speak louder than opinions. Something else happens too. They stop hating the people who doubted them, not because they forgive easily, but because they understand something deeper. Most people don't discourage you out of cruelty. They discourage you out of fear. Your ambition reminds them of the chances they didn't take, the risks they avoided, the versions of themselves they abandoned. So they project limits and call it advice. Once you see that, it stops feeling personal. You stop arguing. You let time do the talking. Days turn into months, months into years, and one day, quietly, something shifts. You walk into a room and people look at you differently, not because you demand respect, but because your presence carries proof. They ask questions now, seek opinions, pretend they always believed in you. You don't correct them, because you remember. You remember the silence, the doubt, the lonely nights when quitting would have been easier. And you realize something important. You didn't win because you were special. You won because you stayed. You stayed when support disappeared. You stayed when progress was invisible. You stayed when becoming ordinary would have been accepted. That's the difference. Most people aren't defeated by failure. They're defeated by discouragement, by being told directly or indirectly that they don't belong in certain rooms. But the truth is this: the people who change their lives are rarely the ones who were encouraged early. They're the ones who learned to move without permission. They don't chase validation, they build competence. They don't argue with doubt, they outgrow it. If you've been told you can't, if you felt dismissed, if you've been underestimated quietly, you're not behind, you're early. Early in a journey that doesn't come with applause, but ends with self-respect. And that's worth more than being accepted by people who never believed in you to begin with. Subscribe to Rise Together. We grow quietly, but we grow strong.